Greetings, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Lee here from Gross Project Perspectives again. And today we are going to be taking a look at the cryptocurrency market. It has been, kind of a bearish, 48 hours. Right now I'm filming this at 11:07 a.m. Eastern time on the 24th of April. But we've definitely had some consolidation. I wouldn't say anything that's been terribly unhealthy, but definitely a lot of liquidity exiting the space. So if we take a look here, we can see, kind of where we topped up here, about $64,256. That was on the 14th of April, and since then we've been on a slow decline. Now, like I said, I see this as healthy consolidation, considering that on the 25th of March we were at 51,000, and then today we are at 49,000. So, in my opinion, I think that we're not looking at anything. A lot of people that I'm seeing in terms of sentiment checks have been saying, we're looking at a 20K Bitcoin or a 30K Bitcoin. I don't think it'll go that low. I kind of hope it will, because obviously then that'll be a great time to stock up on more before we see, the continued stress of the halving cycle take hold. But again, I think a lot of people, maybe new to cryptocurrency, or they they may not realize that only 4 months ago, guys, we were at 31,000 for one Bitcoin, and we're still comfortably above that number at 49K. So I really don't see the to be a reason to be worried. I'm not selling any of my Bitcoin. I'm holding through this. I think long term we're still on a bullish pattern. We haven't, we've tested lower resistance, but here on February 28th, 48,000. I believe we did get that low. Yeah, we did get that low, and then we bounced right off it. So it looks like hard resistance is somewhere, in the 48K range. But like I said, from a technical standpoint, I think it's really just large liquidity exiting. So I don't know if that was, a margin call, or just a large amount of liquidity exiting due to the at the current time we're about to experience the removal of SLR, which is the standard liquidity ratio, which essentially allows banks and financial institutions to leverage themselves further. So, before COVID, you were probably, if you were a big bank, you were able to leverage yourself about 10 to 1, 15 to 1. At least that was the point. I don't know if any of the banks were, sticking to that, but I would imagine, you'd hope that they had been sticking to that. But essentially what happens is when that runs out, they're going to have a lot more, they'll have to have a larger, or they'll have to recover assets, so they have enough to meet margin call or meet the, requirements, so they don't get margin called. So you can see the trading volume. Let me go ahead and just earn some BAT here. You can see that the trading volume has dropped off 42%, which is considerable, but at the same time, we're really just looking for sideways consolidation. I would expect us to bounce, if we do test 49K again, we'll bounce off it hard, because it looks like we are at 49.2 right now. So this will be the decider. If we break this bearish, the next resistance would be at 38,000. But like I said, guys, I think that it's much more likely that we bottom out at 44K if we do go lower. But overall, I would, just judging from the technicals here, I would expect this to move sideways. I would be very surprised if we see Bitcoin go under 40K in the next year or two even. I just think that I'm still very bullish on this technology, very bullish on this chart. And remember, just keep in mind, we were, at 32,000 a Bitcoin back in January 24th. So, and then it looks like, an amount of liquidity entered the space shortly after the GameStop saga, it looks like, and just ran right up to that 57,000 mark. So if you really think about it, it could just be this big run up, taking profits, or like I said, we could be seeing a situation where an individual has been margin called, or is liquidating assets to ensure a margin call does not take place. But yeah, either way, I would definitely say I'm still bullish. Midterm, short term, we will see some consolidation. But again, if you're a fan of a technology and you believe in the fundamentals of an idea, especially in the crypto market, I feel like anytime that we do see consolidation or dips where, you know, a lot of people will, you know, kind of start to panic, and rightfully so. If you have, you know, that might be a reminder, you know, that you may be over leveraged, or you might have a bit too much skin in the game. But, you know, since I'm holding long on this, I think a lot of people are holding long on this. It's just another opportunity to top up. So I do expect to see, you know, well into more or less the end of April, I do expect to see some sideways movement. And then we should be able to kick off May with some nice upwards movement, you know. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see, you know, some of that liquidity re-entering the space in 25th, 26th, you know, in the coming days as the week starts up, depending on how the stock market performs. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum here. Now Ethereum has, I believe, hit, I think it hit 2 all-time highs on. Yeah. So it's been hitting an all-time. It's been on a run, man. It really just bounced. It had this little cup handle set up, and then bounced right off 1,600 up to 2,399, and now it looks like we are, you know, consolidating. But again, if I go to the 1 day here, we got a double bottom here. Yeah, it doesn't. Again, this doesn't look like it looks like there was some big sell orders, or possibly some algorithmic trading, because we have been seeing some uncommon candlestick trading. If you look at the candlestick patterns on these high volume moves, you know, situations like this, if you look on the candlestick, you'll be able to see that there's been a lot of volume. So it is interesting to see that we've sustained such a comfortable high or low at 2178. Now, obviously, here is here is the last low, but obviously on the 7 day, we still have sustained a high or low, and we're just really bottoming out on that. Yeah, so it looks like we double bottomed here, and look what happened after that double bottom, guys. We broke out, you know, a nice little W setup. So what we're looking for here is another W setup, and then hopefully we're going to go up. But like I said, I would say that overall, you know, next couple days we will see some healthy consolidation. But I think that when we do see liquidity enter the space, we'll see that FOMO start to take hold. Obviously, one of the most important things to take note of is just the drop off in trading volume. So we're just not getting the same amount of liquidity entering and exiting the space at the current time. But that's a good thing, because again, that means that there's going to be a bit more of a stable price, which, you know, if you are a fan of Ethereum, I would say that this isn't a bad time to make an entry point. Just always keep in mind with any cryptocurrency, you know, we're still looking at, you know, what, $500 under the all-time high. So, you know, it looks like before this breakout, we did have a cup handle here, and it looks like if we do sustain this, even just a little higher, we're looking at a W pattern that could be good. So, you know, I wouldn't say that, you know, that this is an amazing entry opportunity, but I would feel comfortable adding here, because again, I do see Ethereum to 3K by May. That's just my opinion. I think that we will see DeFi, NFTs, all of these different integrated business systems that are deciding to use Ethereum because of its open source and its ability to. I think it's just more palatable to the current corporate space or the current business space. You know, not saying anything about Bitcoin. I know a lot of people have strong opinions about cryptocurrencies, but I just think that Ethereum at the current time is being favored in the corporate space due to its open source nature and its ability to kind of, you know, build on top of it a bit easier than you can with Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and take a look at Dogecoin. I know a lot of people, a lot of Bitcoin maximalists just absolutely love this coin. But so if you aren't familiar with Doge, it's something that's memed heavily by Elon Musk, and you know, it's basically, it was originally, you know, created as a you know, as a meme, like as a joke, if you will. But definitely, I would not say that is the case anymore. Now, a lot of people have said, you know, this is just a pump and dump, especially on the way down here. But we're seeing a lot of people hold here. And I think as well, like, I'm seeing a lot of narratives from a sentiment standpoint. Not that I believe in Doge being like the best tech, but in terms of memes, you cannot deny the effect that memes have on our marketplace, and just in general now. I mean, it really is funny that It used to be information, that in terms of trading, and especially when you talk about the stock market, insider trading is taking place all the time on the stock market. The SEC doesn't do their job, but it's just interesting to me that that's taking place. But anyway, let's get back to Dogecoin. Take a look here. Obviously, we did sustain a lower low, so that's going to be bearish on a short term. But again, we keep bouncing up strong. Like there's been a few times where liquidity is just picking it up. I don't know if it's a stop order or what it is, but it looks like it is around the 23 cent mark that we are getting that support. Yeah, 26 cents and then 19 cents. We bounced right back up. And then we got more liquidity entering at the 23 cent mark. So I am actually short-term bullish on Dogecoin. And I know that a lot of people will disagree with me on that. That's fine. We can always have different opinions. But I do think that as we see this volume pick up, Dogecoin, because of its lower price, it is going to be easier for individuals who are looking to hold this cryptocurrency over time. As large liquidity enters, like if we had dropped right back down here, or even if we had dropped back to like the 15 cent range, I'd be a little bit more skeptical. But again, we got to keep in mind, like this was 6 cents. This was 6 cents back in the start of April. So again, like I have been holding since then, and I'll continue to hold, just because I don't think anyone's selling. One of the most important things I think about cryptocurrency is sentiment checks, and then you put that together with the technicals. And like I said, this is a real strong, like almost a bull flag here if we can keep moving sideways. But yeah, we'll definitely be watching this. I would say that I am short-term bullish on Dogecoin. It's going to move sideways. What we want to see is on the right side of this cup sustain some low volume, and then hopefully we will see a testing of the 42 cent range again. Hopefully we can get to that 50 cent range. But all power to the Doge holders. Let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin here. Okay, so Litecoin has had probably the most dramatic drop-off in volume at 53%. You can see on the 1 day here, let me just go ahead and pull this up. You see on the 1 day here that looks like the lower low 230 we broke fucking hard. Like that's a lot of liquidity exiting the space. You can see these sharp drops. That's kind of what I was saying with algorithmic trading, or you can see large liquidity exiting the space. As I said, we do have those new collateral requirements, and I would not be surprised if a financial institution has been exposed to any of these cryptocurrencies, and they're simply forced to sell their asset to ensure that they're able to meet collateral requirements, and so their broker does not just liquidate all of their assets. And I'll show you XL coin, which is something that's very interesting, adding to that point. But let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin. Now short term, looking at the technicals here, I am bearish, just because you look at that trading volume and 53%, I mean, that is a huge drop off. So obviously we have bounced up high, but I would expect us to stay within this narrowing range, which would be 221 to 226. I would expect us to move sideways here, and then we should see some solid upward movement eventually. But again, Litecoin is definitely going to be something where it'll follow the lead of Ethereum. So what we want to see is we actually want to see Ethereum and BTC go up. We want to see BTC drop first, and liquidity hopefully will flow out of Bitcoin and into alts as ETH picks up. And it'll flow into ETH as well. And then as ETH drops, the alts will pick up that liquidity. And then, at least in my opinion, what usually happens is after the alt pump, it'll rotate back into Bitcoin. But again, right now we are, we've had a lot of stimulus. We've had a lot of money in the system at the moment in terms of the conventional US dollar. So we could be seeing, just some healthy consolidation. I'm not panicking. I know a lot of people, like I said, may have a bit too much skin in the game. But this is just a reminder that, if you feel uncomfortable with how the market's behaving, that may be a reminder that you may have a bit too much skin in the game. And you may, be in a place where you want to look at your risk management, and just how you want to position that. But like I said, short term, I would see some bearish consolidation. I don't see us testing, yearly lows or anything like that. A lot of people definitely the end of days spiel is very popular right now. But yeah, overall, I would be short-term bearish, and we should see a nice correction going into midweek next week. Like I said, for a lot of these altcoins. Okay, so I do want to take a quick look at Chainlink, one of my favorite cryptocurrencies, and then we'll be taking a look at Algorand, and then after that I'm going to take a look at XL. Now, the only reason I want to look at XL is just to kind of not enlighten you, but expose you maybe to something you hadn't seen that's taking place in the cryptocurrency market. But let's go ahead and look at the Chainlink 7-day. Now, again, we had a nice little cup and handle pattern that sought rejection right here on the 20th. And then it looks like, again, just a large amount of liquidity exiting the space. So I know a lot of people are thinking this is mass sell-offs. I don't think that's the case. I think this is probably a combination of algorithmic trading, just very rapid trading, and big money exiting the space. I think, like I said, it's pretty... I would be surprised to find out that institutions weren't involved in cryptocurrency at this point. But let's go ahead and take a look at the trading volume, a minus of 57%. So nobody's touching Link right now. In my opinion, this is an amazing entry point. $31, $32. And again, you keep in mind, this is where the liquidity entered, and we're really just where that liquidity entered again. We're pretty much maybe a little lower, but I think people always have to keep in mind how you look at the 1 day, you look at the 7-day. Let me look at the month. Sorry, you look at the month. Like, look at how much liquidity entered this space at one time, and then dumped, and then picked back up, and then dumped, and then So to me, I don't see this as like, oh my God, no, it's bearish, everyone's selling. I just see this as liquidity that's making an impression on the price. Now, I'm not saying that there's freedom of manipulation in the way that you might find in the U.S. stock market, but definitely there are still ways that big money can affect the price of an asset. That's trading. That's trading and investing. So, but obviously we will wait to see that volume pick up. We do want to sustain lower volume on the double bottom here, and then again we are looking to form that W, but you can see that from a technical standpoint a lot of these coins are following the same technicals. But I like Chainlink. I think it will be an integrated function of the future. I think that if you're not aware of Sergey Nazarov, I would definitely take a look at what he's done and his ideas. You see, it's a decentralized Oracle network. Sergey Nazarov was the creator. I actually believe he may or may not be Satoshi Nakamoto or be associated with Satoshi, because I believe it was a week before Bitcoin was patented that he patented smart contracts, or not that BTC was patented, but BTC went live a week after he had patented the term smart contract. So definitely interesting. Chainlink will allow, in my opinion, for complete autonomy in terms of data feed execution. So when you sell an asset into another asset, you need to make sure that data feed is current, and that's what Chainlink aims to do. Let's go ahead and take a look at Algorand before I go off on another tangent here. Should be able to see it. So this is another one where just brutal drop off on trading volume. But again, if you look at the, if you look at what this is March 27th, huge amounts of liquidity entering the space and then exiting the space. So really, it's not, it's not like these gains were all sustained and these were, healthy growing, gains. I think that this is just liquidity entering and liquidity exiting. I think maybe somebody's short on a lot of this stuff, and I think maybe they need to prop it up and then sell their long position in rapid succession to try and make sure that people think that there's a panic sell. But again, we've just ended up testing lower resistance. We have a triple bottom here, which actually couldn't be more bullish on a cup handle pattern. So if we form a nice W here, I think it's off to the races. I think we test that new high. Now, obviously, you can see that the high back in 2019 was 2.9 cents, or $2.90. And I would say that back here was actually, I believe, was due to a pump and dump that was attempted on this. And then, to combat that, they rewrote or not rewrote, but they had a difference in saturation, in their saturation, their token saturation. in their tokenomics. But let's take a look at this, man. On the all-time, huge sweeping cup and handle here. So really, we just got to sustain that lower high. And yeah, and if we can get a lower high here, it's off to the races, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm a big fan of Algorand. I just see it as the most efficient blockchain. It can do, I think, 2.5 million transactions in 2.5 seconds. I just think it's going to be a big deal going forward. But let's go ahead and go back here. I just want to take a second before we finish up this video to show you XL. Actually, it's XL. Capital XL. Here we go. So it's up 17% today, but I just wanted to show you guys what happened here in the last month. So we're going along, 7 cents, 8 cents, 21 cents. So, you know, it keeps fluctuating. I actually have no idea what this technology is, capital XL. Like, I don't know. You can see the trading volume drop off has been about 100%. But obviously, there is a huge amount of money that is entering this space. Look at that, man. That's all one institution or a collection of institutions working together to prop the price in a day's time. I think it was like 12 hours. Yeah, 5:29 a.m. to 9:29 a.m. Right? That's the same. Yeah. So in 4 hours they pushed a price from 9 cents to $3,000, $3,392 per coin, and then dumped it. In my opinion, this is a very crafty bookkeeping work by large institutional money. And we're seeing it. I mean, look at that. Look at the amount of liquidity that entered the space. And then such a sharp drop-off. It's very strange to me. Obviously, I wouldn't be trading this asset because, you know, there's nowhere to trade it. It's literally, it's almost impossible to find. But if I try to find an explanation, like, I can't, you know, it had the Chainlink was like, what is Chainlink? But yeah, like, again, there's nothing here, nothing I can find about this. So yeah, the current exchanges are AOFX, BakeX, and DragonX. So I just think that I thought that this was interesting. You know, seeing that we do have those SLR requirements running out. But make of it what you will. Obviously, you know, this is just my interpretation. It's not financial advice. It's just my opinion. But, you know, definitely some strange stuff happening. So for me, I will be hodling as always. But I hope you guys have a good weekend. Thank you so much for watching the video. And I will see you in the next CoinCheck.